Okay, so you know how we're all kind of drowning in streaming platforms these days, right? Like I feel like every other week there's a new one popping up. Disney plus whoa, Paramount plus whoa, Peacock. I mean, come on. But have you ever stopped and thought about what it would actually take to like build one of these things from scratch?
I mean, I think about it all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, it's fascinating.
Well, good, because that is exactly what we're diving into today. We've got this guide here that basically lays out all the essentials of creating what they call an over-the-top or OTT platform.
Yeah, RPT, yeah.
So whether you're thinking of launching your own streaming empire or just curious about what goes on behind the scenes, this is going to be a really interesting look under the hood, I think.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people take these platforms for granted.
Yeah, totally.
They just assume that, someone will upload some videos and boom, you've got Netflix.
Exactly, but it is so much more complicated than that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole ecosystem, and this guide breaks it down into like 4 main areas. The revenue models, the features, the content strategy, and then how they actually get the word out there, market the platform.
Marketing, yeah, that's a whole other beast.
Oh, for sure. So let's start with like the most basic question, right? What even is OTT?
Right. So in a nutshell, it's all about delivering video content straight to you over the internet. No cable, no satellite, just pure streaming.
Right, directly to your device.
Exactly. And the guide calls it an on-demand entertainment hub, which I think sums it up pretty nicely.
Right, totally. It's like entertainment on your terms.
Exactly. Whenever you want it, wherever you want it.
Love it. Okay, so how do these platforms actually make money? What are the different revenue models they can use?
Well, the guide outlines 3 main models and then talks about some, kind of hybrid approaches.
Yeah.
First up, you've got SVOD, which stands for Subscription Video on Demand.
Okay, like Netflix.
Exactly. Netflix is like the poster child for SVOD.
Yeah.
You pay a recurring fee, usually monthly, and you get unlimited access to their entire library.
Right, makes sense. Then there's AVOD.
Yep. So AVOD is advertising-based video on demand. Think of YouTube where the content is free, but you got to watch some ads.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then what was the third one?
TVOD, transactional video on demand. So this is where you pay for individual pieces of content, like renting or buying a movie on iTunes.
Oh, okay, so like pay-per-view, basically.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are the hybrids like Hulu, where you can choose a cheaper ad-supported plan or pay more for ad-free streaming.
Interesting. So they're combining elements of different models.
Yeah, it's all about finding the right balance for their audience and their content, I guess.
Makes sense. Okay, so beyond the money stuff, what about the actual platform itself? What are some must-have features?
Well, I think the guide really hits the nail on the head when it talks about the importance of user experience.
Okay, so like, what does that mean exactly?
Well, first and foremost, you need an intuitive interface.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants to spend 20 minutes just trying to figure out how to find a show to watch.
Yeah, that's so frustrating.
Oh, totally. And then there's personalized recommendations. That's how you get that, like, oh, I'll just watch one more episode, and then suddenly it's 3 in the morning.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, the algorithm knows me too well.
Exactly. And of course, these days, multi-device support is non-negotiable. People want to be able to watch on their TV, their phone, their tablet, whatever.
It's all got to be seamless.
Exactly.
Dick.
But it's not just about what the user sees, right? There's also a lot going on behind the scenes. The guide talks about things like secure payment gateways, which is, kind of obvious.
Yeah, got to keep that info safe.
For sure. And then there's DRM, or digital rights management, which basically protects the content from piracy.
Okay, so that's how they make sure people aren't just, illegally downloading everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And something I thought was really interesting was the emphasis on having a robust analytics dashboard.
What's that?
So basically it allows the platform operators to track all sorts of user data, like what people are watching when they're dropping off or they're clicking, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so it's like super detailed insights into viewer behavior?
Exactly. And that's how they figure out what's working, what's not, and how to make the platform even better.
So it's all about constantly tweaking and improving based on the data.
Data is king.
Gotcha. Okay, so we've talked about the money, the features, but what about the actual content? I mean, that's why people subscribe, right?
Of course. And the guide breaks down a few different content strategies that platforms can use. So one approach is to focus on original content. There's the big budget exclusive shows and movies that you can't find anywhere else.
Right, like Stranger Things or The Mandalorian.
Exactly. Those are huge draws for subscribers. And then there's licensed content, which is basically acquiring the rights to popular existing titles.
So like all those sitcoms and movies that everyone loves?
Yeah, and that can be a good way to round out your library and appeal to a wider audience.
For sure. And then there's user-generated content, UGC.
Right. Think YouTube and TikTok, where the users themselves are creating the content.
Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
Totally. And then finally, there's live streaming.
Okay. For stuff like sports and concerts and news.
Yeah, and that creates a sense of immediacy and community that you don't get with pre-recorded content.
Right. It's like you're all watching it together in real time.
Exactly. So you can see how each of these content strategies comes with its own pros and cons.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's say you've got your platform built. You've got amazing content lined up. How do you actually get people to sign up? How do you market this thing?
Well, the guide highlights a few key marketing strategies. So SEO and content marketing are crucial for making sure your platform shows up in search results.
Right, so when people search for like best streaming platform for documentaries or whatever, you want to be at the top of the list.
Exactly. And then social media campaigns are huge for generating buzz and engaging with potential subscribers.
Yeah, got to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. And then there's influencer marketing.
Okay, so getting like YouTubers and TikTokers to promote your platform.
Exactly. They can reach a massive audience and lend their credibility to your brand.
Makes sense. And then what was that last one?
Referral programs.
Oh, yeah. So incentivize existing subscribers to spread the word.
Exactly. Offer them a discount or some other perk for referring their friends.
Clever. Okay, so basically launching an OTT platform is not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
It's a lot more than just uploading some videos.
It's a complex beast with a lot of moving parts.
Right. You got to have a solid revenue model, a user-friendly platform, engaging content, and a killer marketing strategy.
And even then, there's no guarantee of success.
True. Very true. So with all that in mind, it makes you wonder, right? What's next for the streaming world?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a rapidly evolving landscape.
Exactly. So what underserved niche is out there just waiting to be tapped into? What kind of platform or content or delivery method could really shake things up? That's something to ponder, isn't it?
Definitely food for thought.
For sure. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today, but I hope you found this deep dive informative.
I know I did.
Haha, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.